Hi folks, hope you're okay today. It's good to be with you. My website is jasonburnspreacher.com. I just want to talk about the infallibility of Scripture. If you reject the infallibility of Scripture, maybe you're a theological student, maybe you're a philosopher or scientist or whatever, but if you reject the infallibility of Scripture, you don't get rid of infallibility. What happens is the authority that rejects Scripture becomes an infallible source of authority. So what you tend to find is that, for example, the Catholic Church rejected the authority of Scripture. They went for tradition. But it didn't end with the infallibility of Scripture. The Pope became the infallible source. Now, when the Pope became the infallible source of knowledge and information, they became dictatorial. The popes became dictatorial. And that's what you find. Whenever you reject the infallibility of Scripture, you erect a new infallibility, and that infallibility becomes a dictatorship. So the socialist state will reject the infallibility of Scripture, but what happens is the socialist state then becomes the one that is infallible, but then it becomes dictatorial. You see that in the French Revolution. They reject the infallibility of Scripture, and they exalted reason and the state, and reason and the state became the infallible authority, and then it became a primary means of dictatorship. So if you're a theology student and you imbibe philosophy, or you imbibe the cultural analysis of Scriptures and all the rest of it, and you begin to reject the authority of Scripture, the infallibility of Scripture, you will then actually erect an infallibility within yourself, whether it be culture, whether it be your feelings, whether it be reason. But actually you'll become a bit of a dictator. You might say that you're a postmodernist and you're free and you give everybody a fair thought and fair idea to discuss. But actually you'll become quite a dictator even as a postmodernist. You will not tolerate anybody who challenges your postmodernism. You become quite fascist in your defense of postmodernism. For example, the animal rights people, you reject the infallibility of Scripture, you actually become a dictatorship yourself, and you can see that within the fanaticism in some animal rights activists, that they're almost fascist in that they will not listen to any other point of view whatsoever. So if you reject the infallibility of Scripture, it doesn't end there. Somebody's going to erect an infallibility source, and that infallibility source, whether it's feelings, postmodernism, whether it's the state, you'll become a dictator. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.